160 years ago, one of the more dramatic moments in the history of the Vicksburg campaign, Dr. and Mrs. Balfour's 1862 Christmas Eve ball. For those attending the affair, they witnessed a moment that many were certain to never forget, for this moment began a chain of events that would eventually lead to the surrender of their beloved Vicksburg. While the Confederate garrison at Vicksburg celebrated Christmas Eve, a Union convoy under the command of General William T. Sherman, laden with men and materials of war, was plying down the Mississippi River with the objective of capturing the bluffs north of the city at Chickasaw Bayou. Intelligence had reached Confederate military officials in Vicksburg that a Federal convoy was coming down the river, but it was not expected for a few days. Confederate President Jefferson Davis had just left Vicksburg and was pleased with the defenses established to protect the Hill City. Thus, it was believed that leisure could accompany the joyous Christmas season. With Confederate sentries guarding picket posts along the river batteries, anxious for their 2-hour breaks, Confederate officers and their guests dined, danced, and enjoyed general merriment at the Crawford Street home of Dr. and Mrs. William T. Balfour. Further north up the Mississippi River, at Point Lookout, Louisiana, 2 Confederate soldiers were playing cards when a young enslaved girl came in to tell them she heard boats on the river. Brought to the riverbank, the soldiers waited in silence as they heard the faint pat, pat of a boat on the river. After about 30 minutes, they saw it. A monster gunboat rounded the bend. Quickly jumping into action, one of the soldiers readied to send a telegraph of warning to the troops at Vicksburg, but was stopped in his tracks as his comrade whispered,
"Here comes another one."
Both men watched and waited as they counted 7 Union gunboats and 59 transports. When they were confident that all boats had been accounted for, one soldier began the hard ride 3 miles inland to the telegraph station, where he hastily tapped out a message to fellow soldier Philip H. Fall at DeSoto, Louisiana. When Fall received the message, it is reported that he replied with, quote, "God bless you. Bye-bye. We may never meet again." End quote. For Fall knew what must be done. He knew that the only thing standing between a surprise Union assault and the chance that the Confederates could hold Vicksburg was himself and a harrowing trip across the tumultuous Mississippi River. With unmatched bravery, Fall boarded his small rowboat, lit the red lantern on its bow that would indicate to the shore batteries that he was friend, not foe, and he set out across the river. Meanwhile in town, ladies in elegant evening wear, gentlemen in their best suits, and officers in their finest dress uniforms continued to enjoy their evening. The Federal-style home of the Balfours would have been aglow with candlelight and alive with the sounds of music and laughter, a welcome sight on a winter's night. Suddenly, just before midnight, a muddy, disheveled, and breathless Philip Fall arrived at the home demanding entry. As Fall walked through the great hall of the Balfour home and past its enchanting spiral staircase, partygoers gave him a wide berth and gawked at his unkempt, dirty appearance. As he approached Brigadier General Martin Luther Smith, the general reportedly scanned Fall critically and frowned while exclaiming,
"Well, sir, what do you want?"
As Fall hastily informed the general of the Union Army's approach, Smith's face turned pale before loudly exclaiming,
"This ball is at an end. The enemy are coming down the river, and all non-combatants must leave the city."
Thus, the merriment of the Christmas Eve ball came to an abrupt end. The war had reached Vicksburg.